The Magic Mile is New England's only NASCAR track and one of the more difficult ovals to race on iRacing. What seems like a simple track based on the layout is anything but simple when you figure in banking and grip levels, which makes it perfect for tonight's challengers on the Stout, which is the Stout, grippy, late model stock car here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Welcome to round 3 of the Misfit Racing League Summer Touring Series, Pit Stop TV, and the virtual Loudon, New Hampshire. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Misfit Racing League Summer Touring Series. Get that one down for round number 3 of their summer. Tonight's coverage is brought to you by Spartamax, by CB Designs, by Crow Sim Shots, sorry Justin, by Molly's Custom Silver, by Hot Shots Photography, by Podium Esports, and by Whiplash SimCam. So as all those graphics go across your screen, make sure to check out those who support racing. But we have got 100 laps of feature racing set to go here in just about, I'd say, 20-25 minutes or so after a couple of heat races this evening. New Hampshire, yes, we're going to see some heat races as opposed to what we saw at Stafford, where we only got that one heat, I believe. I think we only got the one. So a bit of a more, I guess, regular format for these guys this evening. We are going heat racing properly. Let's talk about this racetrack, though. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. As I said in my intro, it looks real simple from above. It is just a straight-up oval. It's not at all simple when you get down to it and you break this thing down with the very flat banking, the banking that falls away out of turns 2 and 4, and the lack of grip here. It becomes a real challenge at all 4 corners of this racetrack, and I envy none of these drivers this evening. While this car is easier to drive at a racetrack like New Hampshire, is still not perfectly easy to drive. And we can also talk about our point standings coming into this evening, with Justin Brooks on top at 207 after his win at Stafford. Jake Sylvia now in the second spot. He moves up from 4th. Tyler Mueller there in 3rd. Dylan Calabro in 4th. And Michael Wiseman completes your top 5. There will be a couple of number changes, it looks like, throughout the field, so bear with us on that. These sessions are held in hosted sessions, so there are a couple of discrepancies, but we'll work with it as we need to, and, well, it'll all make sense at the end of the day. But you see Josh Parrish down there at the bottom end of the top 10. He did not make Stafford, but he did win the first race of the season, so he's still got a decent points total, and while I don't see him in the field this evening, he could still come back and put together a decent little season for himself. Speaking of drivers who are going to make it in this evening, one of them is going to be Ryan Kuhn. He's currently on top of our qualifying standings, which we'll pull up now. Qualifying wrapping up in the background. Ryan Kuhn fastest. Looks like Grant Brown is going to shut it down. He'll be the final car to go out for a lap, and he will qualify 17th position thus far. So Ryan Kuhn, top of the board. You've got Deegan Smith, Sean Hayes, Justin Crow, Michael Wiseman, your top 5. And of course, we'll run through your full starting grid here for the heat race. The top 5 get locked in by qualifying, but then we do go heat racing, and we can talk about our Whiplash SimCam's details in that same thread, because we do have 10-lap heats this evening, a 12-lap LCQ should we need it, and a 100-lap feature race. These are open setup races, 2 change sets of tires in the pits, up to 3 green-white checkers available, and caution laps do count. Same kind of format that we saw at Stafford on play this evening. While we wait on qualifying to take over to our first heat race, let's talk about what we have upcoming here at Pit Stop TV. Next up, tomorrow night, we go out to the Chicago Street Course with the XCal Web Shop Series here in 2024. Our first broadcast with that group. It's race 16 of their 30-race season. Then this weekend, it's a big one. We have the Majors 24 with 13 splits. We're covering Split 4. We'll be going live at 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning, and then 3 a.m. Eastern on Sunday morning. Very early broadcast days for us on Saturday and Sunday, and then we go out to Sonoma Raceway with the Icon Cup Series on Sunday, June 9th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern. So we got a lot of road racing. 4 road course broadcasts coming up before we get back to our next oval race, which will be sometime next week. Want to give a nod, certainly, to our partners with the series. Of course, as mentioned, Spartamax, CB Designs, Crow Sim Shots, Molly's Custom Silver, Hot Shots Photography, and Podium Esports for allowing us to broadcast this event. A big nod to our partners at the channel as well, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, and CC's Business. We should be advancing into the session here in any moment, really. So while we have a moment, if you're watching over on YouTube especially, let us know who you're pulling for, who you're, maybe where you're watching from, rather, because we do have a wide variety of drivers from all across the United States partaking in this event this evening. In fact, we do have some drivers, as Kyle Adams told me, who were gritting up and going qualifying as tornado sirens went off behind them. In other words, they're from the Midwest. Well, we are ready for our first grid of the evening. We'll even get into the iRacing sim here in just 1 second, and we'll talk about and roll through our first heat grid. By CC's Business, Jake Grout on pole this evening in car number 49. Kyle Adams rolls off from the second spot, starting third and fourth, Kendrick Cryer and Jacob Alexander. Mr. Winnebago himself on the top of row 2. Row number 3, it'll be the 97 of Sean Urich, and how about the 89 of Bradley Stefane in 6th place to wrap up the field. Tyler Mueller and Matt Mingo will take us through our 8-car heat number 1. Weather conditions this evening as cars come to life. 68.2 degrees in the air, track temp at about 102. You see some clouds over turn 4. They may start to come this way depending on which way the wind is blowing and if that wind changes at all, but relatively calm winds here today in New Hampshire. Perfect day for a virtual race. We'll go through some of our Whiplash Simcams onboards. On board with Matt Mingo, you can, well, take a look from the traditional kind of TV vantage point. We also have the bumper cams front and rear, as we'll display here with Jake Grout as he rolls off from the grid in pole position. Kendrick Cryer, how about our in-car perspective, right alongside the driver, right to the right-hand side of the driver's helmet. Jacob Alexander can help us show off this shot from the mirror, more or less, looking back at the left side of the car. Sean Urich can show us the right side of the car. And Bradley Stefane can take us inside his helmet with this really, really cool vantage point. We actually debuted this vantage point with this late model stock and have moved it to every other car that we broadcast, which is a really, really cool factoid about this car in specific. But this camera, I think, gives us a really cool perspective. And of course, right here over the right side portion of the car looking forward, you see all those clouds over turn 4. They might head this way and make this a much cooler, much different kind of race. You see that barrier, that front moving in, maybe, who knows? But let's get ready to go racing this evening. Race number 3 in the Summer Series. Well, heat race 1 is green. Mr. Winnebago himself grabbing the outside wall. Jacob Alexander, there we go. Back on the outside, safer barrier. He falls back now. Kyle Adams, though, crossover on Kendrick Cryer, and spinner is Jake Grout. Adams makes contact, and our first CC's Business caution comes out for the race leader. Jake Grout, a driver out of New England, did not want to start his day that way, that's for sure. We'll take you through the back end of lap 1 and what happened in this caution. On board here with Jake Grout. And he just got back to power and got free. Then here comes Cryer. He dives high. Then you see Kyle Adams dive low and couldn't miss the spinning 49. The rest of the field gets by okay, it looks like. On board the Winnebago. Well, that makes for a slightly slow start to the day, but that's okay. No Zach Burtis this evening. Hope he's doing well. Hope to have him back if we do any future broadcasts here with the Misfit Touring Series. I know this is a series usually covered over on Podium Esports, and I want to give a big shout out to Podium Esports for calling upon us when they need to. And this is not the first time we've covered for them in times of need, and while we never want Podium to have to forfeit a broadcast, we're certainly happy to step in and help them when we are able. The field will double up this time by, and we'll go back racing the next time around. It looks like one car is in the pit lane, or rather catching up to the field, and it is Jake Grout. He has taken his fast repair along with Kyle Adams, so both of those cars will be back to looking pretty and go back very, very quickly around some left corners. Grout will catch up to the field on the backstretch, line up 8th, and we'll be ready to go back green flag racing here in just a moment's time. We do have more late model racing coming up on Pit Stop TV. While it's not on this graphic, next Thursday we go out to the Milwaukee Mile with the Sarah 1-8 Racing Media National Tour. Super late models at the Milwaukee Mile. You don't want to miss that one. 100 laps of racing just like we have this evening. And that'll be in addition to everything you see here on this broadcast in this graphic. Into the Echo restart zone and into the hands of Kendrick Cryer. Green flag once again in Heat 1. Clouds quickly moving overhead. Kendrick Cryer leading, Sean Urich drifting through turn 4. These guys all sideways in the final corner. One lap complete, green flag. Way up high is Matt Mingo in that number 12 Dodge. Nearly to the outside wall down the backstretch. Sean Urich, though, side by side with Tyler Mueller in the 11. Rather the 4. Again, a couple of those small number discrepancies. Go on board with Sean Urich looking back at 3rd place. Tyler Mueller, and up ahead now Kendrick Cryer allowing this 97 to get to his inside. We're going to be 2, maybe 3 wide into turn number 3. Way down low, Kyle Adams, a big move to put it 3 wide on the 89ers Stefane, all while Kendrick Cryer's under some fire, sliding around, making contact behind him, drag race to the line that time. Cryer hangs on to the race lead by just a nose. 2 really good battles, way to the apron. That is Tyler Mueller on the flat. He slides back up in behind Urich. Urich will take the race lead. The Team Zeem 66 is doing a fantastic job up top, but this time it looks like he's going to be cleared by Sean Urich for the race lead. Just 2 laps to go here in heat number 1. And Kyle Adams in 4th place runs the fastest. This is more or less just a qualifying race. Nobody's going home today from the heat races. But this is an opportunity to better your position in the lineup. This is a big, big deal for these guys to start further up and have track position. Big send into turn 3 there from Cryer. He gets back alongside Urich. Urich, you saw the yellow gloves moving around inside the car. White flag is out, brought to you by Whiplash Simcams. Adams even faster that time. On board, you can see just how close these 2 are down the backstretch. Into turn number 3, this will be the camera to the end. Sean Urich outside, Kendrick Cryer down low, Kyle Adams, big send underneath, he's looking for third. It's going to be a drag race into turn 4, Cryer inside, Urich outside to the stripe, it's going to be Cryer with the win in heat number 1. Incredible. Which now leaves some big shoes to fill for heat number 2 to go out there and try to somehow do even better. The Heat 2 grid will be headed up by none other than Dylan Calabro in car number 18. Brad Carpenter in the 31, that bright green machine on the outside of the front row. Then Tanner Burge in the 35, Dylan Delaney in the 88 car, top of row number 2. How about the 41 of Brandon Wind? Grant Brown in the 14, starting from nearly the rear of the field. And finally, Trevor Ward, very back in the field here for Heat 2. Well, as you watch along this evening, we invite you to take a look at our social media pages. There's a handful of them. Of course, you can follow along with Pitstop TV at all of these platforms. PitstopTV.com. It's a little outdated. We're working on it, I promise. It's a work in progress, as always. Facebook.com/PitstopTV. Instagram.com/Pit_Stop_TV. Twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV. YouTube.com/C/PitstopTV1. And X.com/PitstopTV_. And of course, we are also broadcasting to those of you on the Misfit Touring Series YouTube page. I believe on Misfit Productions, technically. So welcome to all of you. The clouds have subsided somewhat as there's contact coming to the green flag, but heat number 2 is underway. One car in the wall. Delaney. Maybe a hardware issue off the start. That 88 is still stopped, and can confirm hardware issue. He will be able to get it off the racetrack. These guys will keep racing. Big send here, Grant Brown all the way down to the apron. He gets covered up by wind. You saw the 35 of Burge go down there as well. 1 lap complete from the start. On board, Tanner Burge. Burge working here on our race leader of Dylan Calabro. Very, very close there through turns 1 and 2. Calabro's in the 71, but Squarto's the 18 tonight. That's how close they are off the second corner. This is only lap number 3. I think these guys are going to be going at it most of this heat race. Meanwhile, Grant Brown has moved into 4th, and he's working on Brad Carpenter, this for 3rd spot. Brown hooking the bottom, going to have a run maybe through turn 4 and back onto the front stretch. It's kind of stagnates. But he was the fastest on the racetrack of anybody that time by big send into turn 1. A little bit of contact maybe with Brad. That was pretty stout. That was a big send and it worked. Gonna do the same, I'd imagine, down here in turn 3. Big send, trying to pull a slide job. Not clear. Carpenter's still out there now. Carpenter will relent, give that spot up, and Grant Brown goes through the 3rd spot. Another lap complete, another lap led by Dylan Calabro, not going anywhere. Tanner Burge, though, might have something at the back end. Oh, as we crossed halfway cross flags, rather, that time by. Alongside, maybe. No, Burge backs out now, ducks up the inside of the 71 car. He's got a fender to the quarter panel. Ooh, that was close. Behind him, Grant Brown solidly into third. Carpenter in fourth. Ward in fifth. Brandon Wind at the sixth spot. Nothing really changing the rest of the way through. Weather conditions, though, now that the clouds have really moved in, the track temp has dropped down to 93 degrees. It was 102 in qualifying. I'll check my notes again of where it was. I know it was 1-0s. Somewhere over 100 degrees when we started this broadcast. So it's dropped about 10 degrees, maybe more. 3 laps to go. A valiant effort, lap after lap by Tanner Burge. I just don't know if he's going to have enough at this point. These tires, they take temperature more than they wear. They don't really wear all of that terribly on iRacing. Although we are going a bit faster. But you can really build some temperature in these corners, especially the way these guys are sliding through and putting wheel in, going down on the flat just like that. Just a couple of more opportunities for Burge to try and upset Dylan Calabro, who started this heat race from pole position, has led every single lap. While the white flag is out in heat number 2, brought to you by Whiplash Slim Cams. Grant Brown is closed in. He's going to look at second place maybe on this final lap. Final time through 3 and 4, nothing going to change out front. It's Calabro, it's Burge, it's Brown. And that's how they'll finish. So Dylan Calabro, your Heat 2 winner. And that'll take us straight into the race session. It looks like through an invert, it's going to throw pole sitter Ryan Kuhn back to 11th and Grant Brown to the pole position. Oh boy. On pole for this evening's third round of the Misfit Touring Series summer season. Grant Brown will lead us to the green flag. Tyler Mueller, second place. Going to start from the outside of row number 1. How about third place? It's Tanner Burge, Sean Urich from 4th. To complete your top 5, Heat 2 winner, Dylan Calabro. Kendrick Cryer will line up from the 6th position after winning Heat number 1. Then it's the top 5 from qualifying. Michael Weissman in 7th. Justin Crow in 8th, Sean Hayes in 9th, Deegan Smith to round out your top 10, and way back there in the middle of the field now after qualifying fastest, it's Ryan Kuhn who will roll off from 11th position. It sounds like he might be taking an EOL to go to the rear of the field to start this one, while Kyle Adams will grid up to his outside. Brad Carpenter, Jake Grout will join the field in row number 7. That'll be Trevor Ward back in row 8 alongside Bradley Stefane. And to complete your top 12, well, your only 20 cars here this evening, Brandon Wind, Jacob Alexander, Dylan Delaney, and Matt Mingo, rather. I want to remind you guys of the point situation coming into this race. Justin Brooks with the points lead, not here this evening. Jake Sylvia second, not here this evening. The top 2 drivers, we'll say top 3 that are here. Well, really, it's just third on back. 3rd through 9th, they're all here. So if I go back to my graphic that Kyle Adams sent me before this race, the drivers that are here that have put themselves, we'll say, in the top 20 in points. Tyler Mueller, Dylan Calabro, Michael Weisman, Sean Urich, Dylan Delaney, Kyle Adams, and Jacob Alexander. We also have Deegan Smith here today. He's 12th in points. Justin Crow, who's 13th. Grant Brown, who's 14th. Jake Grout, who's 15th. Tanner Burge, who comes in to today 16th in the standings. Trevor Ward, who comes in 17th. And that is it. So we have a lot of drivers who have made starts in either races 1 or 2. Or both, that just aren't here this evening. A couple of the big ones would be Justin Brooks and Jake Sylvia. Justin Brooks, of course, won out at Stafford. Sylvia has the pace to win just about anywhere he goes. So effectively, your points battle becomes Mueller and Calabro. They come into today 12 points apart. So if Calabro can put a decent couple of spots on Mueller, I think that'll be a big time points gain. Calabro going to grid up 5th today with well, I'm having to search. I could have sworn Tyler Mueller's here. I got to find his name somewhere. Is he here? Is my mind playing tricks? I know I saw him somewhere. I guess not. I don't see Tyler Mueller in the session. Well, okay, so the points battle really becomes Dylan Calabro, Michael Weisman. They come into this evening some 9 points apart. Sean Urich, another 13 back. So Calabro, your effective points leader. Weisman second. Calabro going to start 5th. And Weisman will start 7th. Sounds like some drivers are having some gridding issues, so while they get that sorted out, we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side, and once we get rolling, we'll be right back with the start of this 3rd round of the season. Just like that, it happens quick. Welcome back to the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This evening, we are here for round number 3 of the Misfit Summer Touring Series, and we're going to have a 4-wide salute before we go green flag racing this evening. It's a 100-lap feature. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but these guys gridding up 4 wide, 5 rows deep. This is just cool. I'm not sure what the occasion is, but I'm never going to complain about a 4-wide salute in racing. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen on iRacing. I've seen it a couple of times in the past, usually in memoriam of a driver. Like I said, not sure the occasion this evening other than just wanting to do something cool, but this is really, really cool. Difficult to pull off. Well, we can go over Whiplash SimCam's race details one more time. It's a 100-lap race with open setups, 2 change sets of tires, up to 3 green-white checkers available, and caution laps will count. And in the event of some green-white checkers, we have a fancy graphic bottom right to talk about. We'll get there if we need to get there. Let's hope we don't. Grant Brown will lead us to the green flag this evening. That is going to be Tyler Mueller. I knew he was here. Tyler Mueller on the outside, so he is in the points battle. Why couldn't I find him? I don't know. We're going to work into the Geico restart zone and get this race underway. 100 laps begins now. Brown, Burge, Mueller, top three down the backstretch. Oh, contact for fourth. Urich up the racetrack, gonna hang on to it. He's on the outside now of 3 wide with Kendrick Cryer in the middle. Weissman way down low. 1 lap complete at New Hampshire. 3 wide right behind the leaders. Cryer gonna drive through the middle. Urich gonna follow in behind him. That's the 0 car now of Sean Hayes right in the middle of all of it. Oh, contact there. Calibro to Burge. Burge up the racetrack, just hangs on. 3 wide now with Burge stuck on the outside. That's going to be Hayes now entering the middle. Cryer goes on through. Grant Brown, fastest on the racetrack. He leads. Contact there. Burge and Urich come together. And it was a little bit less gracefully than the Beatles. Oh, we got Kyle Terzak out in the chat saying Kendrick Cryer's his hero. Brennan Kennedy tuning in this evening. 4 laps complete now in New Hampshire. 3 laps complete, rather. Way on the outside, Sean Hayes starting to go backwards in that Toyota Camry. I'm sorry, it's actually a Cadillac on the nose of that car. Looks similar to the old Camry nose. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Trevor Ward and Dylan Delaney wadded up on the outside of the racetrack. The Delaney Dodge definitely has some left front damage. The first CC's business caution flag is out in the feature, and it's going to start out, it looks like, with Trevor Ward in the 16. He's got the 41 to his outside. That is Brandon Wind. And Wynn just gets tagged by Ward. Ward goes spinning, locks it down. Delaney is there. And a decent bit of rear end damage, I would imagine. Oh, that car is way towed out. Oh yeah, that left front is has seen better days for Trevor Ward. That'll likely be a fast repair already for the 16 car, and that is not what you want to have happen. On board with him, inside the helmet. That might be a little more on Wind, seeing it there, and then boom, Delaney comes in, kill shot. On board with Delaney, this will be outside the car, but on the roof. Delaney very back of the field. It all happens ahead. Alexander gets by, but no such opportunity for Delaney to do so. And Delaney now will pull back around with a brand new left front on that car, and it'll be a fast repair for the 88. No fast fix taken by Ward. I think he's going to need it, though. He's still got a lot of wheel to the right just to go straight. Yeah, that's not going to do. That is a good way to burn the right front, or left front, rather. Well, maybe the right front, too. I mean, that's not driving right. Up front, Grant Brown going to lead us back to the green flag. Of 100 laps, 6 are complete. Well, Kyle, you can't come back. You got to stay here. Contact between The 88 and 16 put us under caution for the first time. That's, well, technically it was the 41 and 16. Brandon Wynn gets tipped by the 16 of Trevor Ward. Caution comes out. Dylan Delaney involved. And we'll re-rack him, restack him, go back green flag racing. 7 laps complete now at New Hampshire. And oh, Brad Carpenter was just on 2 wheels. Caution's back out. I thought we were going to have a flip. Wow. I saw Kyle Adams and others get out of line trying to avoid whatever was going on in the start there. But let's see. Brad Carpenter, bottom side. Restarting around 13th, it looks like. Hayes didn't go anywhere. The 24 got going and then had to check up. And Ryan Kuhn turns. Wow. Kuhn turns at 31 and Delaney's in another. On board with Carpenter. These guys are anticipating the restart a whole lot better than Sean Hayes, the rest of the bottom side, and Carpenter goes down and gets the 24. Wow. And watch Ryan Kuhn in all of this. He's going to go down and try to miss it. Ends up just tagging the 31, and we nearly flip him over. We'll go on board with Ryan Kuhn, going to be the car that turns that RKM 31 car around. Certainly not the way RKM would have wanted this restart to go, but Ryan was just trying to pedal it and find somewhere to go. One more ride on board with the 31 car. That right side camera was looking at the sky for a second. And now from the 88. Wow. Being told by race control that the 24 is claiming the caution. That's Kyle Adams, so he will go to the rear, it sounds like. Up front, it'll be Grant Brown and Tyler Mueller lining up back on the front row. I mentioned earlier, if you're one of those that's here for some late model racing, I assume you are this evening, well, make sure to tune in on June 13th when we go to the Milwaukee Mile. The Semi-Auto Racing Association 1-8 Racing Media National Tour goes out to Milwaukee with super late models in a very, very similar format to what we're seeing this evening. 100 laps of racing, open setups, and some of the best late model drivers on the iRacing.com sim. Guys like Ryan Kuhn, who's in this race. Might even see Ty Majeski or Alex McCullum in that one. Who knows? Maybe we can try and get Kyle Turzak into it. We're going to give this thing one more shot on the front stretch. Waiting on the green flag. Way down there, Grant Brown gets us going. We get through turn 2. Wiseman and Caliber are going to fight for third. Way down low. Cryer was looking. He pulls back in line. Wiseman way up the racetrack. Maybe some net code. Got him spooked. Who knows? At the racetrack. Way up high. 1 lap complete off the restart. Burge sideways trying to hang on to it. Justin Crowe going to pedal and get down low. Wiseman moves around, and here comes Mueller for the race lead on Grant Brown. Whoa, that was close. Drag race to the stripe on lap 13. Brown would have won that one. Cryer fastest that time, goes purple. Mueller way down low on the flat, going to slide up right next to that 14 car. Back down to the bottom side, turns 3 and 4 all the way to the grass. Mueller trying to find something. That was slower that time. He's actually coming into the pit lane. Hello? Not sure what he's got a pit penalty for. I can't imagine this to be a pit stop. Either way, our leaders continue on. The top 3 get single file now. Wiseman the first fight. He's got Urich on his outside. Mueller just pulls straight through the pits, goes right back on the racetrack. That may have been a restart violation for Mueller. Brad Carpenter turned around at turn 4. No caution yet. And, uh-oh. No caution, no caution. No caution. He'll pull away. Out front then, the fight now for second. Kendrick Cryer, Dylan Calabro. Calabro on his back foot. He loses the second spot. Cryer goes by. That 66 is strong. The field now getting mostly single file. First side-by-side is here between the 97 of Urich, the 86 of Crow. Justin Crow on the inside. He was quick at Stafford. Pushes up just into the door there of Urich. Close again through 1 and 2. Contact. They lean on each other. Urich outside still. Crow inside. And that's Deegan Smith right behind. Privy to one heck of a show right now on lap 18. They slide up the racetrack. An opportunity maybe if you're Smith to poke down load. Would you go 3 wide? Would you not? He doesn't. I don't know how much longer Urich can hang up there. He keeps getting further and further back on the door of the 86 car. That time nearly gets the outside wall, and you can see that bit of left front damage to Urich's machine. We'll see it better from this angle. Yeah, there we go. This is a really cool view, and he's getting smaller, but you could just see it there for a moment. Side by side now, Urich and Smith. Here we go, this will show it. Look right there on the fender. So up front, we get single file for the most part. Oh, it's spinning. It's going to be Brandon Wind into the pit lane. Caution. Not really sure how that one triggered a yellow flag. Either way, Brandon Wind will bring out caution number 3 this evening. Sideways drifting on the bottom and just got loose all on his own. A lot like Jake Grout at the beginning of Heat 1. He'll take this opportunity to go down to pit lane, and will take no faster... Actually, that was pit lane for him. He will not go to pit lane then. At least not yet. Don't anticipate much pitting here just yet. Wait and see if we have any takers in the front stretch. But Grant Brown, your race leader. Kendrick Cryer, second place. Then the 71 of Dylan Calabro. 74 of Michael Wiseman. And the 16 of Sean Hayes. No takers from the lead anyways. First car to dip down, it looks like might be... Who was that? Bradley Stefane, followed closely by Trevor Ward. And Brandon Wind will stay out. Brad Carpenter as well. Carpenter able to take a fast repair, get back on the racetrack. As these two go to pit lane and take service, we'll go Pit Stop TV side by side and be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the virtual New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Ready for a restart to take us into the second quarter of racing. We'll restart on lap 25. About a quarter of this race complete in New Hampshire. 76 to go. A reminder, you're watching the Misfit Summer Touring Series. Several cars puffing the outside wall there out of turn 2. Just that puff of smoke, you can just tell they just clipped it. Cryer gets clear of Calibro. That's Hayes down low. In that bright blue Cadillac, and the 74 Weissman will win out across the line for 4th place. Cars spread out 2-3 wide all throughout the field. Cryer a little bit slow there off of the second corner. Weissman as well, and a blinking Calibro pulls up on the 66. This would be for second place. And it will be for second place. The YachtClubSoda.com number 71 Toyota Camry pulls right on through. It's going to nose ahead. It just loses the nose at the start-finish line, does Calibro. Brennan Wind fastest. A bit deeper in the field, on board with Kyle Adams. He gets cleared up by the 4 car rather. If you move a little further forward, Tanner Burge is a great sight. Watch this in the corner. 2 very distinct lines, and he's packed up behind the 90 car now of Alexander. And Ryan Kuhn. Oh, contact. That was Weissman and I think Grout. Weissman at the racetrack, a bit sideways, a bit squirrely there through turns 1 and 2. Hard of the wall, Justin Crow. That was a big shot to the outside wall, the concrete. Not even safer area there where he hit. Ryan Kuhn going to pull through, and Kendrick Cryer, something's happened to the 66. He's gone from 2nd to 7th. On the outside of turns 3 and 4 now, you see the 72 down low, that's Ryan Kuhn, now through to 6th. Cryer coming around the corner. I don't see any right side damage. The car just starting to get away from them. He's going to work the top side down here in turns 1 and 2. There goes Jacob Alexander on by. So Ryan Kuhn, somebody we're all too familiar with here at Pit Stop TV, was the defending champion going into this past season of the Sarah Super Series. Lost the title to Alex McCullum, but only by a handful of points. While he didn't win in here at New Hampshire in that Sarah's Super Series, he was one of the better drivers until circumstances kind of took over. And we know how good he's going to be at any track in New England. Of course, he's home to the region as Kendrick Cryer gets real free again. You see several cars moving around. Tyler Mueller going to make it 3 wide down to turn number 3. He's going to go right on through. Slide job successful. Burge now going to try the crossover on the 66 of Cryer. There's a car down there. That's Wiseman. Nearly a third of the way through now. Cryer back to the inside. This of Mueller. Burge up the racetrack, 3 wide now, Urich in the middle. That's Wind way down low. Justin Crow there in the shot. Oh, real close to turn 4.